was really nice.
Natalie Maines, man, I like to crank her down to 0. And Julian Barberie, man, that girl, she knows how to put a few away. Whoa.
Really?
Oh yeah, she's a partier.
Yeah. She gets after it, Tuck. Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is that... Wow. That's... Huh. I can't get over that Barbara Walters was cold to you. That's awful.
Oh, shut up, Tuck. You're just trying to stick up for her right now.
No, I'm totally serious. I mean, Barbara Walters has been around so long.
She was awful.
I think I've talked to her twice, and both times she was really nice.
She's not even going to deal with you. You're a pauper in her world. She didn't care about your Swanson fortune. Hell, she didn't care about nothing that you got. She thinks you're a hack.
Wow. Well, now I don't like her.
I mean,
she was rude.
I mean, the amount of people you've been exposed to in your career wouldn't even come close to like 15 minutes of her Michael Jackson interview. You know what I'm saying, Tucker?
I do. Certainly in ratings, she gets great numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still on the air.
Which just goes to show you how pathetic our country is.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
She asks no tough questions. That's why she gets the interviews.
Let me ask you a question. Do you ever watch The View?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It is the most annoying show that's ever been on television.
I'm gonna say something now, man, that you're gonna argue with me till the cows come home. You're probably gonna end up fighting me on it. This is gonna be our first fisticuffs.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a person right now. I don't know if anybody in this room is going to agree with me or not, but the person that I had wrong all along and I was not friendly with, I mean, I never had an opportunity to have her on the air, but I always said bad things about her, and I never gave her a break. I never knew her. I just didn't like her work per se. But after she's taken her fat ass off of TV now, I really appreciate her more, and she really, I think, was on to a lot of good spiel, and that's Rosie O'Donnell. I'm going to be honest with you, Tucker.
No way.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be the first.
How in the world could Rosie O'Donnell be anything other than one of the nastiest, angriest, dirtiest people who ever lived?
Well, other than she's just brutally honest and doesn't care about what you think, and she tells you the truth, and she has no agenda other than being a lesbian and wanting to adopt kids. I mean, I had her all wrong,
my
friend.
She's a gun control. I don't care if she's a lesbian or adopts kids. Actually, I don't like the kid stuff so much, but I don't care if she's a lesbian. But obviously, at all, good for her. I'm pro-lesbian. But why? I mean, she's like a gun control nut.
All right,
like lecturing us on whether we get to have, no one should be allowed to have guns, and then she's got some bodyguard
with guns,
with a concealed carry license.
Yeah, that's we got a problem.
We got a few trip ups here and there. Nothing we can't work through.
That's the Tucker just articulated. That's the exact problem I have with her.
Oh my gosh, it's infuriating telling me that I shouldn't have a gun in the house.
Listen, man.
When rich people lecture
she's made a few mistakes along the way. Rosie has. She's made a few trip ups. She didn't mean to.
She tells it like it is.
Thank you, Manson.
I like her.
You know what? Thank you.
Rosie O'Donnell.
You know why?
Really?
Because she doesn't care. She doesn't simply care. And she's not going to embellish it. You know what? The bottom line is, how many people really feel that way about guns, but sit there, Brent, and will not tell you their true opinion? First of all, I believe
try to hide it. Yeah.
I believe in guns. I think you should be able to own a gun. I think I think you should be properly permitted and licensed, and after you check out to be not.
Wait. Permitted? What does that mean?
I think if you should be able to carry a concealed weapons. A handgun, and if you've been properly permitted and you've been checked out, I don't want just every sling and D to be able to go carry a handgun and be in the same department store or something as my child or kid. But after you've been properly permitted and properly checked out, you should be able to carry a handgun.
Should you get a permit to exercise your freedom of speech too?
No, but you.
Just because. Wait.
Hold on. There's two
really
different forms. There's two different.
Don't you think the government should decide whether you can talk or not?
Tucker,
people can misuse that, right?
There's two different forms of guns. I think that everybody, should be allowed to have a hunting rifle. And everybody should be able to have a gun in that manner. Less felons that have done time, but you shouldn't have to be permitted with a long rifle and things like that. Back to where the settlers, the type of guns they had, and what probably Brent they framed our amendments under. But I don't think that you should be able to have a handgun and take it to places that a guy can take his handgun once he's been permitted. Now you should be able to own a handgun. You shouldn't just be able to keep it on your person though, and go to the same places that a person that's been properly permitted is allowed to go to.
Okay, so
now Tucker, even you being the most liberal, even you,
a concealed weapon in a public place.
Brent, Tucker, even you being the most libertarian free thinker, there's some common sense have to be used. You got to agree with me on that. I mean, you don't want a guy that is a less than desirable scumbag that's able to carry a handgun in the same department store as you and your family, do you?
I think that I am okay with restrictions on carrying concealed weapons in some public places.
Okay, that's my point. That's my point. No,
but it's got to be a pretty high bar, though. I mean, the government has to have a really good reason to restrict your access to firearms anywhere, in my opinion. A really good reason. Well, I think airplanes is fine.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to keep guns off airplanes.
But I think, again, I don't think there should be any rules limiting long guns and rifles and things that you could do hunting with. Less people that have been convicted felons and have had those rights taken away.
Hunting? I mean, because the Second Amendment isn't about hunting; it's about
a well-organized militia.
I think I understand.
Right.
I understand that, but I mean, I don't think that when they framed that, Brent, they meant that you should be able to carry a handgun into a restaurant where you have a bunch of people, hanging out.
I don't know. I don't know.
I kind of disagree. I mean,
when you read the amendment,
it's not a question of having it in the restaurant. How about in the parking lot, after dinner?
Well, I
would be useful to have.
It needs to be
useful to be able to protect yourself.
Properly stored in your glove compartment. The three-step rule. I don't got a problem with that. I just think that you're going to have to put some kind of rhyme or reason with that.
And here's the problem I have is that local police departments, most police departments, any police department I've ever heard of actually, is against allowing civilians to have guns because they want a monopoly on force and on protection. You have a problem, you call the police. Well, that's not how it works. The way life really is you got a problem, you have to protect yourself. You can't assume someone else is going to do it for you once you're an adult, I think. And so, but police departments are very against the private ownership of guns. Most cops are, because it makes their lives more complicated and it makes them less special. So you don't want to give police departments the right to deny people exercise of their Second Amendment rights. You don't. I mean, have you ever gotten a permit for a gun? I know you have. It's a huge hassle.
Yeah, I have one currently. I just renewed it, as a matter of fact. It comes up for renewal in February of 10, and then they've already sent me the renewal process. So, yes, I do have one, and I've gone through the process. It's not that big of a deal. Once you get fingerprinted one time, it's done. No big deal.
Fingerprinted? I mean, I don't really see my fingerprints as anybody else's business. I mean, it's not your right to have my fingerprints.
Well, I think that it's your right if you're going to be permitted to carry something that could kill anybody and a lot of people, then you got to go through the necessary hoops to get that done. Manson, what's your opinion on this?
I just don't see that. I mean, the assumption is that I'm going to do.
Every lunatic should be able to run out and buy a gun.
That I'm going to do something wrong with my gun. I don't know. I think it's an unfair assumption.
That's why you're not a big-time politician, and you simply just interview these people.
But when you,
no, that's right, because I have a pretty absolutist position on the Second Amendment. I really believe in it, and the First Amendment, by the way. If somebody, because look, words actually wound people, and can cause people a lot of trouble. And so, why not have the government say, look, you can express your political opinions once we've made certain that those opinions aren't going to harm society. So you need a license to do it. I mean. But we don't accept that because we take an absolutist position on the First Amendment, as we should. Anyway,
let's get to what you do best, and that's TV. Because you said, and here's a couple excerpts from this Friday's Fox deal.
There are two Thanksgiving celebrations. One is in April and one is in November.
In a multicultural community like El Paso, they might celebrate two Thanksgiving, but in this one they're talking about the Hispanic-Mexican Thanksgiving held in April of 1598.
McGraw-Hill's Roger Roglin was in charge of the 2-year development of We Live Together. It was ordered for Texas and first published in 2002. It's still used today in second-grade classrooms. Two Thanksgivings might be the standard in El Paso, but Fox News reporting discovered this 2003 edition in a...
I do got to tell you, Tucker, I think you slowed it down. You might have been on even a Zanny bar or something like that.
Yeah, he sounds good. Sounds really good.
I slowed it way down.
Yeah,
That's slow enough, I think.
Way down.
Small town in New Jersey.
If you were to think that a child would believe that there are two Thanksgivings for the whole country, I think that's highly unlikely the way that the book is written.
Here on pages 46 through 49, We Live Together says the first Thanksgiving was all about a lack of water for people walking up the El Camino Real path in 1598. The Pilgrims in the Mayflower aren't mentioned until pages 136 through 139.
They came to America for a better life. The Pilgrims built a colony called Plymouth.
We're trying to make sure everybody has an equal opportunity in this country. So